Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Code Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation is Gauri Gwareri Mahalla Tija. Haumai Vich Sabh Jag Baurana, Duje Pae Param Bulana, Bahut Chitta Chitve Aap Na Pachana, Tanda Kartya An Din Vihana, Hirday Ram Ramoh Mere Pai, Gurmukh Rasana Har Rasan Rasai Rahao. Gurmukh Hirday Jin Ram Pachata, Jag Jeevan Seva Jug Chare Jata. Haumai Mare Gur Sabd Pachata, Kripa Kare Prabh Karma Bidata. Se jan sache jo gur sabd milaye, तावत वर्जय ठाक रहाय. नाम नव निद गुर ते पाए, हर कृपा ते हर वसै मन आए. राम राम करत्या सुख सांत शरीर, अंतर वसै न लागे जम पीर. आपे साहिब आप वजीर, Nanak sevai sad har guni gahir. This passage speaks to Haumai, which is our existential problem, the root problem in Gurbani. And what Guruji is saying, Haumai Vich Sabh Jag Baurana, the world is adrift in ego consciousness. And that is the only consciousness that we are all familiar with, is ego consciousness. But that is a delusion. Duje pae param pulana. Duje pae literally means love of the other. The other here is the material world, the world of form, Maya, if you will, which creates in us a dual awareness. And that is the delusion. By dual awareness is meant the notion of a subject and an object, because the ego, Haumai, instantly turns everything into an object. It becomes the center of the universe. And that is the delusion. And that is what causes the limitations of the Haumai. Bahut chinta chitve aap na pachana. Through much thought and much thinking, the self is not grasped. So in other words, thought and thinking is not really the way to deal with the ego. Tanda kartya andin vihana. Preoccupation with the rat race, and life passes you by. So that really is the situation that we are in. We are adrift. We are in love with the world of the senses. We are pleasure seeking, and that is the rat race that we are all engaged in. And life just passes us by. For those of you who are interested in a fuller treatment of Haumai, please visit our website at www.kojgurbani.org. In the Rahau, the reflection for us then is Hirde Ram Ramoh Mere Pai, Gurmukh Rasana Har Rasan Rasai. My brother, seek the Ram self. It dwells in the heart. When Gur wisdom comes to abide in the intellect, then the elixir of self, of the self, is imbibed. So let's see what is meant here. Seek the Ram self. which is in the heart. In other words, there is a dimension to us that we are unaware of. It is the dimension of the self. It is our true dimension. So the instruction to us is, my brother, seek that dimension. And how do you do it? Gurmukhe rasana, hare rasana rasai. Rasana, tongue, but here implies the intellect. So replace your thought process with Gur wisdom. Let Gur wisdom be the filter with which you see the world. And then the limitation of Haumai is overcome. Without Gur wisdom, the individual, because we are naturally identified with the ego, we are like a rudderless boat going around in circles in a boundless ocean. So what Gur wisdom does is it instructs the mind on how to shift our current paradigm and to be able to see ourselves in true perspective, in true light. And by doing so, the mind then ultimately realizes that there really is no duality, that there is no observer separate from the observed, that there is just one cause and one doer. Gurmukh hriday jini ram pachata jag jivan sev jug chare jata. With good guidance, those who come to discern the self in the heart, they serve the one that bestows life and is present in all ages. Through the sabad, the wisdom is Haumai overcome and the self perceived. Through the compassionate wisdom is harmony with the law, with hukam, achieved. So the only way to get grace is to deepen one's longing. There is a saying that goes, when the student is ready, the guru appears. So guru wisdom is of course available to us in textual form as the Guru Granth Sahib, but like the self, the guru and its wisdom abounds everywhere. The self indeed is the Satgur itself, the true enlightener. They really are synonymous in a sense. Sejan sache jo gur sabad milaye, tavat varje thak rahaye. Those who follow the Sabad, the instruction, the wisdom, they discover their true selves. And they do that by tavat varje thak rahaye. They have successfully restrained the wandering mind. Here's the key to Haumai. Haumai is really a collection of thoughts, and thoughts are never quiet. There is a constant chatter going on within our minds. And so what Guru wisdom does is it teaches you to restrain the wandering mind. It enables you to get past this wall of thought chatter that is making all the noise in our minds. And there emerges self-knowledge. And that's how it comes to abide in the my naam navnid gurte pai, har kirpate har vase mane aaye. Naam navnid, the treasure of self-knowledge, is then obtained through the Gur or through wisdom or through a particular method. Ram Ram karteyan sukh sant sarir. Sarir, body, but actually not simply the physical body, but the complex, the psychic complex that we call the body, and what is within, even the mental organs within. Ram Ram karteyan, emulation. Karteyan is sort of emulate, to cultivate the virtues of the self. By doing that, well-being and peace is experienced in the sarir. You feel at home with the world. And then the fear of death is not felt antar vase na lage jam peer. That pain, that fear that we all live with is dispelled. Ape Sahib Aap Wazir, you realize that the self itself is at work here. And says Nanak, serve forever the treasure of virtues. Nanak sev sada ar guni gahir. So sacrifice your ego to the self. That is really the essence of the message. If you want to live fully, if you wish to realize your potential, because that is what you are, then break through the limitations of the Haumai, of the ego, because the ego is simply a very narrow band and it's concerned primarily with survival and with pleasure seeking, and can become narcissistic and can become like a chain or a noose around the neck. So to live fully, you have to sacrifice that ego for something that is larger, universal, and sweeter and more pleasurable. Try it. Until the next time, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.